What's going on, everybody? My name's Josh Washburn of Washburn Fabco. Today we're building a pretty large gate. It's about 20 foot long by about 5.5 tall. It's going to be a slider gate. One crucial thing about making these large gates is it's hard to get them level and on the same plane. You may have all your corners squared up, but across that span you might have a twist in the top and the bottom might be kicked out on the other side, and it won't ever line up very good. So I'm going to show you guys a trick that I learned a few years back that helped me out a lot. You would be surprised that most people don't know this. And before I learned this, I was doing a whole bunch of weird shit with clamps to get it to work, and it would end up right. It would just take way too long. So I'm doing this at the shop today because I know the dimensions, but this is something you could do on site without having level ground. I can't just build this gate on the floor because my concrete is so unlevel. It'll never happen. And if you're out on a mobile job, you know you can't just lay something out on the floor very well. So I'm going to get this stuff cut and then I'll start explaining what I'm doing as I'm going in the process here. For this project, we're using 14 gauge 2x2 square tubing, which is a little on the thin side, but the way we're reinforcing it, it'll be fine. To get this frame all squared up, we're going to be using pipe jacks. And what I've done is took a piece of square tubing and cut it in half so that I have a flat surface for the square tube to land on. So I've got it all set up on pipe jacks here. And from this point, what we need to do is choose a side, which the smallest side is usually the easiest. So we're going to start here. And I'm going to put a level across the top here, get this pipe jack and this pipe jack screwed up to where this is completely flat, and then I'm going to tack this one to the corner right here on both of these pipe jack caps. That way when we're going to square it up, it's not pivoting, because right now it's loose. You go down 20 feet that way, come back over here, try to make a correction, and next thing you know, this is already pushed this off. Now that one's back off. Now we're all off again. So we need to select a side that is going to stay permanent where it is affixed and it is already level. So what I did here was I got this side level with the pipe jacks, and then I tacked the actual tube to the pipe jack. Same thing on this side. And then I started getting this side squared up pretty good, so I tacked it on top here. With it tacked on this top corner, when I go to put the level on this way, the long ways, and I adjust from that side and on the center, it'll still have some wiggle room around here, because we know it's not going to be straight just from putting these pipe jacks out. So we still got to get it level throughout the long ways. But what I did do was on that far end over there, I put a tack just like this, but on this side to keep it connected to that one so that we don't lose our angle here. So I'm going to go around and try to get the rest of it squared up around, and then after that I'm going to start playing with the levels. So I got a phone call during the time I was doing that time lapse, and I didn't realize I didn't turn the camera back on. So what I did was come back to this far end and do the same thing, top corner, and tack to the top of the pipe jack on all sides. Got it all squared up good, and then after I got it all squared, put the level here, got these two ends squared, and then started getting these two ends squared. I didn't have any pressure on these jacks to begin with, these center jacks, and then it still came out with the right measurements. This has some sag in it, so I just did the sag by eyeball. If there's a better way to do that, then let me know in the comments. But I just looked down one end to the other, raised it till it looked pretty straight. None of this square tubing you get is going to be perfectly straight. I mean, all it has to do is sit on the delivery truck for a day or two and then sit outside in your yard for until you get to your project, and next thing you know, it's all out of square. So with that being said, raise these up to where it looked good at the eyeball. The level stayed in the same spot, and I measured corner to corner, which is going to give you any flexion that you got going on in your frame that you're building. My corner to corner was the same with the sag as without the sag, so I don't think it's a big deal on something this big. We'll have more opportunities to raise this up and mess with it when we put in our cross members in here. Looking at this, I was only going to do 2 cross members to start with. Now that I'm looking at it here now, I'm going to do 3. And when we get there, I'll show the process. Right now I'm going to get this tacked up so it don't move on me, and then I'm going to start cutting out the cross members. A little quick tip, in case y'all don't know, since we already have this corner tack, the next tack is going to go to this corner, and then you could come up to the top and then back down to the bottom. I don't know how crucial it really is, but that's just a rule of thumb, I guess. And when we go to weld it, they always say it's best to fully weld the flat all the way around. And when I do a time lapse, you'll probably see I go from this corner to that far corner, then I'll go to that corner to this corner, and then I'll do the tops of all the cross members that aren't in here yet, and then we'll flip it over, do the same, and then you can do the outsides all the way around. I'm going to be jumping the same way all the way across, and then you can do the insides, jumping that same way. So I'm getting it tacked up real quick right here, and then after that I'm marking out where I want these cross members to be. Like I said earlier, we're going to do 3 of them. So I cut out the cross members after the frame was already made. I don't like doing it before because sometimes the number doesn't match up on paper to what it should be. When putting in the cross members, I put clamps with a piece of square tubing or random scrap underneath to be able to hold it all level. And pretty much I'm just checking the spacing between the pickets here. Here's a close-up of what I was using to keep all this flush. I just grabbed some scrap pieces and clamped them all down along the line where I marked out where I needed my cross members to go. Alright, I'm going to leave this video at that. I'm pretty sure you'll have a good understanding of how I leveled this all out. One thing I could have did differently when putting in these cross members was when I was measuring for corner to corner, if it wasn't lining up both corner to corners the exact same, I could have put an additional pipe jack under here and rechecked the level on all of them and basically squared this up as one piece. Like, think about it without the rest of it here. I could have did the same process here, and then the same process here, and the same process down the line. But we didn't need to because it was all pretty close within a 16th or so. And you can see from looking down the line here, that's about as flat as it can get. When making big frames like this, as soon as I take it off these jacks and have it welded up, it's going to be wiggling around and stuff. But one thing we're doing is putting in some corner gussets, which are going to have 2x4s screwed to them, and then regular fence boards are going to go on it. So that'll stiffen it up quite a bit. Here's a final look at it. I'm probably going to make another video about the rest of the process I'm doing. But since the main idea of this video was how to square up a frame gate and not just about this project, I'm going to cut the video off here. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a comment or reach out to me on any of my social medias. That will be linked down in the description below. As always, I have all my affiliate links and coupon codes and all that sort of stuff, and DIY parts linked down in the description as well. I hope this helped you guys out. If you had any questions, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.